Well, the weather, it's predicted to be, let's see, what is today? The 13th of April. So, you know, we're in the midst of spring, and it's been a long, hard winter. Because it hasn't been, we haven't had so much snow or anything. It's just been cold for a really long time, which makes winter feel longer and harder than it actually was. I don't think we had particularly heavy amounts of snow, and it wasn't super cold. You know, normally we have a stretch of two, sometimes even 3.5 weeks of below zero. I don't remember us having that this year, but it's just lasted for a very long time. And then with the snowstorm we had on Monday, it was disheartening. But that snow's all gone, and we're back down to whatever ice pack there was that was still holding on. But the weather, the prediction for today is it's supposed to reach 70 degrees. I don't see that happening. It's cloudy. If the sun comes out soon, I think it's possible, but it's 47 right now and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think it's gonna get to 70, but either way, it's 47 now and it feels awesome. So I'm gonna do some projects outside and just find any excuse I can to be out here. Ziggy's chasing woodchucks. If you've watched this channel for a while, you've probably heard me talk about the bowl, which is this sort of no person's land on our homestead, which I really despise. It's the pit that they dug to bury all the trees that were cut off this property when they put the house in and made this big field. For what purpose, I don't know. The guy was not a farmer. Didn't use it for anything except bush hogged it once a year. So they buried all the stumps and stumpage that they cut down, and then they put a skim layer of soil over it. So it's just this massive pit on our property that's got sinkholes in it that are, some of them are 6 to 8 feet deep, so I don't even let the kids down here. But those sinkholes are the perfect place for woodchucks and fox and porcupine and all kinds of things to hide. I don't think porcupine live in the holes. I don't really know. I've seen them walking in and out, but I think they might just go in there for protection. I don't know anything about porcupines except they are damaged fruit trees sometimes. But at any rate, the woodchucks love this place, and Ziggy is my anti-woodchuck security device, and he's found a couple holes, and he's bound. There's one in there, and he's bound determined to get it. So this is the bowl. Let me just say that first. This is, we're down in this little sinkhole. The rest of the, if I get down here, the rest of the homestead is about eye level. So we're just in this big pit. And you can kind of see down here, they ran out of soil. So there's all kinds of trees and stumps and big rocks and everything. And it's, the whole area is like that, but there's a little bit of soil on top of it. Whatever was left that they just wanted to cover it over so it didn't look quite as bad. I think it looks horrible. And it's got all this sumac growing in it, but at any rate, there's a series of holes under here that are all interconnected. There's one there that's active, you can tell by the way the soil's dug out. And then there's another one over here that is connected to it, and Ziggy he's actually made this hole a lot bigger. He'll get right down in there. He's making it bigger. He's gonna get what's ever in there. He's determined. Did you get him? Get him. What a dub. Did you get him? Get him. Oh, he's growling at it. Did you get him? Get in there and get him. he in there? I'm gonna go check his other hole. Is he in there? Get him. I could watch this all day. How'd it go, dude? Give up? All right, so I'm gonna get started on putting the framing in on this last gable so that hopefully I can tighten up the plastic and make this work a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. Ziggy's psyched because he gets to go in where the heat mat is. It's so gross, dude. Dude, don't be tipping over my screws. So I have this thing where about some things I'm pretty absent-minded. Case in point was when I fried all of my seedlings this year. Not for the first time in my farming career. One of the things I'm absent-minded about is Ziggy. I like to have him out with me, but he's still a puppy. And I put a lot of time into training him. I mean, he's 3 years old now, so he's, you know, I don't know if he's technically a puppy, but he definitely acts like a puppy sometimes. But at any rate, I put a lot of time into training him the first year we had him. And then I kind of slacked off a little bit when I probably should have even kicked it up a notch. So he's definitely my dog. He listens to me more than anybody else. He's also incredibly smart, and he listens to my wife most of the time, which makes her happy. Especially because I don't like to wake up in the morning, and she's an early riser, so she'll let the dog out. And one of the issues we face is he runs off sometimes, which is not something I'm a huge fan of. And we live in the woods, so it's generally not a problem. And we have neighbors, but they're all very patient and kind, and we've made an effort to be good neighbors and introduce them to Ziggy. And he hasn't really gone to the neighbors too much. Come on in, buddy. But he has definitely gone more than 0 times. And we have one neighbor that lives up over our hill in the woods, but they border the paved road that our dirt road comes off of. And there was one time this winter, a couple months ago, where I took him out back for a walk, and sometimes he'll stay right with me, or he'll stay within sight of me, and other times he gets some scent in his nose or hears something and he's off, and he just stops paying attention completely. And we could have been having the best, you know, he could have been walking right next to me. I'll let him get out, you know, 20-30 yards, and then call him back, and he'll come right back, and I'll give him a treat, praise him, and then we'll go do the same thing over and over again. And we could be having a great morning like that, but if he gets something in his nose, he's just, I gotta find out what this is. And so one day a couple months ago, that happened, and he got out of sight, and I'm calling him, and I just keep doing the loop because he knows the loop. We walked it so many times. He just, when he is done whatever he's doing, he comes back and finds me. But that particular day, I did the entire loop, and when I get close to the house, I start yelling for him. And I'm yelling, and he's not coming, and then I come and I look, and it's been 5 minutes, and I'm thinking, all right, he's found something, and he's chasing it, chasing the scent. So I'm yelling for him, and then I start looking in all of his haunts, the places where he likes to go. He likes to go over by the trash because the squirrels are over there. So he'll go over there and try to burrow under the lumber and find them. He likes to go out in the bowl because there's woodchucks out there. At this point there was snow, but the woodchuck holes are all over the place anyway. So anyway, I'm looking all over for him and I can't find him. And I said, okay, I'm gonna have to go back out in the woods and find him. So I get about halfway out and I get a text from my neighbor that says, I think Ziggy's down here under our bird feeder. So at this point I'm furious because I don't want a dog that doesn't come when I call him. And it's not his fault, I just haven't trained him well enough. But I went down and got him, and we had a little talk, and you know, he hasn't really done that since. He does go over to the other neighbors, which I can actually see from here. In the winter, it's not so bad in the summer when the trees fill out, but the other house is maybe, if that's 100 yards away, I'll be surprised. I don't know how far it really is, but it's not a football field. But anyway, that neighbor, I don't know what he is throwing, but he throws, I think he just, because he lives in the woods and he kind of doesn't care, I think he just throws like ham bones and just his garbage out the, you know, his organic matter out in the woods. And of course Ziggy's like, oh, I can smell that. And so that's one of the places I'll check. And that guy's, you know, never home during the day. I think he works nights and he's asleep during the day. So dog hasn't really bothered him, but it annoys me that he goes over there. The reason this all started is because I'm sometimes absent-minded. Just found an ant on me. I don't know where that came from. A greenhouse, I guess. I'm absent-minded, and I'll get out here and I'll bring him out and he'll be in the garden with me, or he'll be over looking for woodchucks, especially in the summer. And I'll get going on a project and I'll just forget that he's even out here. And as soon as I stop doing what I'm doing, like there, I was just working on the gable end for the hoop house. As soon as I stop doing what I'm doing, I'm like, oh yeah, Ziggy's out here. And it's not like I get in the car and go somewhere and forget he's out here. I just forget while I'm out here. But that's how he gets, you know, if I'm not paying attention to him and it's been 20 minutes, he'll get bored and he'll just go start looking in the woods. And that's how, you know, sometimes he gets to the neighbor's house. But at any rate, it's hit or miss, because the reason I started telling this story is because I came out of the hoop house, remembered he was out here. I yelled for him once, looked over in the bowl, he wasn't there. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna yell for him again. And right before I did, I looked up and he's sitting on the deck to the house, watching me. That is awesome. I wish he did that every single time. Time to check this out.